Everything we've done against Russia has not deterred them enough. All the sanctions, all the talk, they're still at it.
Well, my view is until they stop, they haven't been deterred enough.
And they're still doing it.
Yes.
Well, they're still talking. Let's give you a sense of what's going on there by talking now to Jeremy Meyer. He's Associate Professor in the Scholar School of Policy and Government at George Mason University. He joins us live from Washington. Jeremy Meyer, welcome to the News Hour here on Al Jazeera. What's your reading of what we've been hearing so far?
Great to be with you. Well, I think what's going on is Democrats are going to try and score some points because Wray is in a difficult position. The president has been attacking the FBI, as have many Republicans, and yet Wray leads that organization, deeply believes that it is a good organization. So Democrats are going to try to point out that the administration that Wray works for has been attacking his organization.
OK, if he's trying to point score, or if other people off in the shadows are trying to point score, presumably that will then only end with Donald Trump sits down, watches Fox News, and then comes out on Twitter growling at these people, growling perhaps at the FBI.
It could certainly end that way. There is a lot of evidence that Trump doesn't like the FBI. I mean, he called one of his former associates a rat for talking to the FBI, much like a mobster would. So there's no love lost between Donald Trump and the FBI.
In amongst the narrative of claim and counterclaim to do with the original Mueller report, that report that was so heavily redacted at one point in one of its iterations, for sure. In amongst that narrative of claim and counterclaim, who's taking the more hits on this, i.e. who's being more damaged here?
Well, in Wray's testimony, I don't think anyone's been badly damaged so far. Neither the Republican talking points about FBI surveillance, some of them implicating Britain rather ludicrously, these have not been deeply challenged. Neither have the Democratic talking points. Wray is walking a very fine line, and I think he's walking it very well.
Where's the driving dynamic for this coming from? Because just in the past, 48 hours on Twitter, Donald Trump's basically been saying, look, there was no collusion. The Mueller report didn't damage me. My base is still thinking I'm God's gift to American politics. Let it go. And one can kind of see where they're coming from with that, because we keep on seeing these hearings. We keep on seeing people being interviewed on cable news in the States. And there's not a silver bullet of collusion here.
Well, that is true, but I think we've raised the goalposts over and over again. I mean, let's remember that the first thing Trump told us is that he and no one on his team ever talked to any Russians anytime, ever. And then it was, well, we might have talked to him, but not about politics. And then it was, well, we talked about politics, but we didn't give them any polling data and we didn't collude with them. We'll see how long that stands up, because some of that now isn't true. So who are you going to believe? The side that continually says that didn't happen and we find out it did happen? That's a real credibility problem for the president.
Jeremy, can I just ask you a quick question about Boris Johnson? How do you think he will work on the relationship between the government in London and the Donald Trump White House, given that Mr. Trump's thin skin and his interpretation of the leaked email story ended up with the UK ambassador to Washington deciding to step down?
Oh, I think it's fabulous news for Trump. I think it's great news for conservatives in Britain that want to get along with Trump. These are two souls that move together, Boris and Trump. Boris is very different from Trump in the sense that he's much smarter, has a much better education, knows a lot more. But they both have that same kind of brash style that many people like. And so I expect that as Trump gets along with the leader of Brazil, as Trump gets along with Berlusconi, I expect Trump will feel very comfortable with Boris.
Jeremy Meyer in Washington, thank you.